a shocker of a performance tonight. Shocking performance, but I was lucky to walk away with a point.
You know what I said, Terry? I said, what's so embarrassing, we tried to shoplift. You know, when people walk into the supermarket, try to shoplift. You know what's more embarrassing than trying to shoplift? Getting caught shoplifting. That's what we did. We tried to steal 3 points, and then they caught us a minute later. And I had a feeling we would win this game on a last minute goal, and I thought I was almost correct because I was sitting there on my watch and I was like, you know what, we're probably going to score a late goal. It's probably going to be McTominay. We're all going to shamelessly celebrate this, and we're going to forget what happened. And we almost did, but they came back right away, and rightfully so. They deserved all 3 points today. 100%. Our man of the match today was between Onana and the woodwork because the woodwork kept us safe. You know that what they hit the woodwork about 3-4 times. So I don't know what to say. But anyways, I don't know where to start from, Terry. You know, I see a lot of people always in the comments saying stuff in the mud. I'm the only one who's not in the mud because I've been calling this for quite a while. There's a lot of people that joined me late, but I was one of the first people to call this out. This is why I can't be in the mud. By definition, I can't be in the mud when I've been calling this out. If you want someone else to be in the mud, Cameron will speak in a little bit because he supported this longer than I did. So we'll get to this soon. But just talking performance, nothing new. They had what, 40 something touches in our box to our 11? We had nothing.
No. Hang on. Sorry, they had 81 touches in our box.
81. I thought it was 40 something.
That was in the first half.
See, I'm looking at just half the stat. I'm sorry. 80 something touches. That's quite embarrassing. Listen, from start to finish, we did nothing in the game. Every time we had the ball in their third, we did nothing. We couldn't do nothing. We knew it because we're so bad. We're such a bad team in possession that when a team forces us in a low block, against a low block, we don't know how to open it up. We don't know how to make the right decisions. When you look at our shots, most of our shots were outside the target. There were easy shots for Flecken to save. Rashford took a couple shots not out the target, outside the box. Shooting outside the box only, which is a sentiment on how good their defense is. Every time they had the ball, they looked like they were troubling us on the left, on the right. Obviously, when Varane got injured, I got a little bit more worried because I know he was our best box defender. And we saw that in the second half. We struggled in the second half to clear the ball out of our box. They kept us. It's crazy that we had possession at the end of the game because when you watch this game, you would think that they pinned us back the whole game. All the chances come from them. You're looking at all the stats are shocking. All of them. We did nothing on the ball. We defended poorly and we attacked poorly. And it takes me back to what these people have been saying because they celebrated that Liverpool win like it's going to lead on to anything. And I came on the terrace and I celebrated shamelessly. And I said, I'm only celebrating the win for today because I know I'm not granted any wins for the rest of the season. I don't. As an United fan, I'm not really granted many wins this season. So I'll celebrate it shamelessly, but I'll never say it leads on to anything. All these people that flip-flopped, you know why there's not a lot of people sitting on the terrace right now? Because all of them gave up. Go back to the beginning of the season. How many people used to come on versus now? All of them have went back on their word so much that they don't even want to speak. I'm the one here standing on business yet again, saying the same thing that I've been saying all season. A big up Cam because you're here, obviously. I know we and you went against each other a few times, but at least you show face. Most of these people don't show face anymore because there's nothing to believe in. This is why every time they talked about top 4 and this and that, and Sam trying to gaslight us and asking us, oh, why are we not talking about top 4, top 5? Because it was never sustainable. That Liverpool win was always going to be an anomaly. You're never going to beat a Liverpool team that way they set up versus the way we set up. It was never going to happen again. There was nothing to take on to the next game, and we showed it today. Garnacho, absolutely shit. Hooked off at 58 minutes. You tagged me after the Liverpool game saying he's talented. Well, I'm waiting for a new tag tomorrow, Terry. You better send me a fail comp and tell me now that he's not talented because he told me he's talented, and now he did nothing today for 58 minutes. And I'm not even going to dwell too much over him because I already know he's crap. This manager is an absolute fraud. And let me before I pass on, I don't want to ramble for too much. I'm gonna let Cam go, but I want to call out one thing because you mentioned this before you brought us on. This manager would rather take out Rashford, who, let's be honest, he had a stinker amongst everyone else, but you know he's your only outlet on the counter, especially with Garnacho being out and you have Anthony on. And Højlund, I don't know what the hell he was doing all game. He takes him off, brings on Mount and Casemiro because he is banking once again on a last-minute header from McTominay rather than having an outlet on the counterattack that could lead him to a goal. We have seen Rashford multiple times, especially that they committed with Terry. They brought on Mope and whatever because they really wanted to win. We had more chances after they made that change because they left the space. This coward of a manager would rather cheat the system again and win with a last-minute header from McTominay, which has nothing to do with style of play or patterns of play or strategy, than to keep on Rashford, who could potentially give you something on the break, especially now that you have Mount running in the 10 and occupying spaces and maybe occupying a few defenders, and you have Bruno playing deep who might play a few passes up to him. This guy's an absolute fraud. Everyone who celebrated too much after that Liverpool win, you deserve that, because I saw people saying, I'm so happy to see Ten Hag smiling. How about my smile? Do I not deserve to smile? You'd rather see that fucking fraud smile after doing absolutely nothing for us all season. But I have to sit here and hold corn all season, and us United fans have to sit here and be depressed all season about the performances, looking at an absolute shit team. For some reason, we're in sixth after all that. But they want to talk about Ten Hag's performance in an anomaly against Liverpool. They can hold that. And anyone who thought about flip-flopping again and supporting Ten Hag after that win, they can hold that too. Because I saw a few of them. They were trying to sneak. The door was slightly getting open, and they're trying to sneak back in. No. You're not allowed back, because I have the receipts. I have the receipts after the Liverpool game. I'm the one who stands on business, and these people love to come at me. So we'll see now after this performance and us not getting top 4 or top 5.
Listen, I listen with the Ten Hag stuff. Me and you see that absolutely the same and eye to eye in terms of I celebrate. If we'd have won that game 1-0, by the way, I'd be here celebrating because it's a win. But I would still be talking about Ten Hag in the same way, which is the performance isn't good enough. It's the performances that are going to get a sustainability. There's no doubt about it. You know me, the Garnacho stuff, I still do think he's talented, but he had a stinker today, and I can hold my hands up and say that. But my biggest issue with the Garnacho is the same as the Mainus. Of course, Mainu looked poor today. The system weren't working. Why didn't the system work? We were unprepared. They pressed us off the park today, and it was almost like we didn't expect them to play the way they did. The players look almost like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? The second time, I don't know if you guys watch boxing, the second time that Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury's tactic was different. He went out from the first bell and started throwing punches and actually trying to knock the guy out. And I don't think Deontay Wilder expected him to do it. And he was just shell-shocked the fight and got beat. That's how we look tonight. Whatever we've done in preparation for this game, it's like the whistle went and the players sort of sat and went, this weren't what we were expecting. And then the most annoying part about this manager for me, and I'd love to throw this part to Cam, is that he didn't try to change anything to plug holes or fill gaps to try and resolve the issue. It was just, let's stick to how we are, and hopefully they miss their chances and we grab a goal on the break. That can't be Man United strategy, Cam, can it? Well, it is, but it shouldn't be, right?
Nah, man. Stappy said we couldn't get out of our half in the second half. We couldn't clear the ball in the second half. We couldn't clear the ball after the first 10 minutes. We had the first 10 minutes where we had 63 possession or something, and then that was it. The rest of the game was played in our box. Like there's a moment where I wasn't even worried about them scoring. They just were able to control everything. Like I wasn't even like, oh, they're gonna score on. I was like, okay, we still can't get out. We still can't clear. We still can't clear. We still can't clear. We had zero control, and him not making changes. At one point, I looked up and I'm like, "How is Scott still on the pitch?" I was like, "This is that kind of." That's where I got real confused, because it's like, fine, you have Scott McTominay, who's bailed you out a few times and gets some goals every now and then, but we know he can't play in a midfield three, like unless he's way up the pitch and making those runs. I think as soon as you realize, like, we were playing the same weird system too, where we just kept trying to play balls in behind, but Brentford was like, yo, we're playing like our line's so far back, like you couldn't get behind the Brentford line. So it was like we needed to do something. Ericsson should have came on in that game, in my opinion, and try and take some control back. But I celebrated the Liverpool game, and I won't lie to you, this would have been the first game that I would have celebrated the win, but only because I would have won money. I mean that. Actually, that's the only reason. I mean that. Today was one of those games. It doesn't happen often. Normally, I'm like, a win's a win. This one was tough, man. Like this was bad. Like we looked, like you said at the start, every single player looked bad. Like I can't think of. I think Delo, he looked all right, but Onana's the only player actually I could say was good, because some of those saves he made were ridiculous, and that double save was unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought Onana was good. I thought Delo as well. Delo's really impressed me recently. Like there's some really.
I just like what he's done recently, because remember, I hated on him a lot. I hated on Delo, and I'll say I was loud. I said, get him out of the team. This guy's trash. He's one of the few players I'm now saying.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, I totally agree. We have a super chat here. Super chat here, Jens. I want to throw it to you. It comes from Blaze, who's a Chelsea fan, who says, Terry, if you're allowed to hold stock in Højlund despite many stinkers by pushing the blame onto managers in the system, then Chelsea should be able to do the same with Enzo.
That's crazy. that's crazy. Like if you watch Højlund play, that's crazy. There's always moments where you're like, okay, he just needs more chances. He just needs to get better at making some of those runs. There's always moments where you could tell there's a really good player in there. I mean, sure, Chelsea can hold on to stocks for Enzo. No, I don't think anybody's saying they can't, but they can't compare the two right now, how they're playing. Højlund's showing that he's going to be a future star. I don't know if Enzo's done that yet. That's just my opinion on it.
Højlund is a striker. Højlund needs chances. Højlund, and again, like you said, Cam, he's showing us something. Enzo Fernandez, he's supposed to be the guy who makes the chances. He's supposed to control the midfield with Caicedo and the other members of the team, and he's not showing that right now. And that's why we're criticizing Enzo more than Højlund.
Equally, I haven't said that you can't hold stock in Enzo. I'm saying the lack of criticism he gets is wrong. There's nothing wrong with criticizing poor Højlund performances. I don't necessarily think today was a poor Højlund performance per se. We were just not getting the ball in regularly enough to him. We weren't creating chances for him. Was he great when he had the ball? No, I don't think he was. But again, no one has said you can't hold stock in Enzo. What we're saying is far too regularly I see him. Like today, you're playing Burnley, and Burnley were cutting through your midfield. Well, it's either him or Caicedo you've got to blame, or partly blame. And like I've said, me and Staffy, we both want this manager out. But we haven't just sat here and said all the players were brilliant. It was just the manager. It's a combination of all of those things that I think you have to look at, Blaze. This one says, bro, talk about United. Stop rambling about I was right all along.
See, it's people like this guy, because put up his other super chat. This is why, bro, like I don't listen to people like him. Put his other super chat. He says, Staffy stays waffling. I have sat here all season. Every time I say something, I'm a waffler. At the end of the season, all the players that I rate are actually our best players right now. I rated Dalot all along. He's one of our best players. I rated Onana. I was in the deep ends, bro. I wasn't even in the mud. I was in quicksand with Onana, and everyone now was talking about him. I was in the mud about Mainu in the beginning of the season. I said he's our best six when he's back from injury, and everyone said he's a kid. Everything that I've said is happening. But these guys love to criticize me all season. But when I collect my receipts, all of a sudden he just wants to be right all the time. Oh, he would rather see the team win so he can get proven right. Bro, I wish I was wrong because I would rather win the league. But when I call these things and they happen, and then you want to sit here and bitch about me being right, well, that's your fault. Because you're sitting here saying I'm waffling. What the fuck did I waffle about? I told you everything that was wrong with this team. You want me to sit here every week and say the same shit again? You was probably one of the people twerking for Ten Hag when we beat Liverpool. So why didn't we win today? Because everyone told me to stop being pessimistic. We beat Liverpool today. Stop being too negative. So what happened? We didn't win for a reason because it's not sustainable, bro.
Yeah,
this is why we score. We get these.
But no, it's crazy though, Staffy. No, it's crazy. We didn't play. What blows my mind, and it's we didn't play like we played against Liverpool. That's what we looked. That's another thing. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying when you look at the two games.
Staffy, I spoke to a guy this week who you're going to start seeing feature on the Terrace very soon. He's very well connected in the football world. We've been working a long time for this, and I was asking him about the managerial situation at the club, and he brought up that Potter's a high priority. Yeah. Amarin's up there as well, because Ineos want structure, but they also want, their words were, calmness. Because right now at Manchester United and at Carrington, the words they use are chaotic and a lack of cohesion. And when you hear that, and that, by the way, the person that told me this isn't a Man United fan or anything along these lines. If that's how we're training, if it's disorganized, chaotic, and there's no cohesion in the training, no wonder we're seeing these sporadic performances. And a lot of how we perform is actually based on the team that's in front of us. If, for instance, however we set up that day suits in a positive way for us, the team we're playing, great. If it doesn't, it's like today, we started and we looked poor and there was no adjustment because it's just, well, this is how we play. We're just going to do it. It's honestly, it's embarrassing to see. And look, Staffy's got a lot of stuff right this year. Obviously, some people, I'm just one of these people. If I get something wrong, I can hold my hands up and go, yeah, you were right. If I get something right, I'll say it and then I move on from it. But a lot of people, Staffy, cannot handle getting things wrong. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. They can't handle it, so they try to deflect like onto you, like it, and make you like and go for your personality. But Staffy's right about this stuff with Man United, and lots of people have been right about lots of different things. But Staffy overall, I will say this, has been right about the lion's share of things with Man United this year. There's no doubt.